This is a 2024 Toyota Tacoma Limited. This is the highest end street-friendly version of the Toyota Tacoma, and it is just like the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro I recently reviewed, a fourth generation truck with a turbocharged 2.4 liter iForce Max hybrid powertrain powering everything along. But unlike the TRD Pro, this one does not have specific performance front seats. It does not have Fox shocks. It does not have an ARB steel bumper. This is built for the road. So it's got a lot of luxury inside, but not the usual off-road prowess added features. And as you could probably tell, I'm not on my usual drive route. I'm actually a guest of Toyota to try these different trucks out, and I do just have a few minutes to try this truck out, but it's kind of perfect to get a sense of what it's like to be in the more street-friendly version of this truck. All right, let's take a quick look at this fourth generation Toyota Tacoma Limited trim. You can see that it's pretty obvious right from the beginning because you look at the front of the car, you don't see any skid plates or anything like that. In fact, you've got this front air dam down low, so very different for ground clearance and approach angle and those types of things. We do have this nice, polished metal horizontal slots in the front grille, and you notice we've got the Toyota emblem, not Toyota, spelled out like the Heritage grille. Very similar headlight assembly right here. It does remind you that it's a Tacoma right there, and we do have these interesting little plates right here, and then we do have vents for the front fenders to help airflow under the front wheel well. As I said, this is an iForce Max engine, and that means it's hybrid, and that means 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. The engine is mounted longitudinally or fore aft like that, and it is fairly well placed in the truck. Front to rear weight distribution is pretty good. The air intake is right here. We got a fuse box right there, some hybrid equipment right there. ABS pump is back over here, more fuses and relays right here, and our windshield washer fluid is really easy to get to right there. Looking at the truck in profile, you can see that it is the same basic shape as the TRD Pro. We still do have the side exhaust outlet right there, but it is obviously very different when you look at the details. For example, that front suspension looks much more typical for a front suspension. And of course it says limited right here. It's also a couple inches lower to the ground. It's also 3 inches narrower. It doesn't come out nearly as wide as the other truck, but we do have some nice elements. We have chrome for the side view mirror covers and for the door handles right here. But we do have a more typical black for the window trim and the B-pillar. And we do have this nice black running board right here, and a black bed cover as well. These are 18-inch wheels, just like the TRD Pro, but they're a very different shaped 18-inch wheel, different color, polished metal, and a different tire as well. Michelin Primacy rubber as opposed to the Goodyear Wrangler Territory. This is a mud and snow tire. This is definitely more on-road friendly, and I think it's lovely. And yes, it is a square setup. The wheel and tire in back is the same size as what's in front. Here's your standard side outlet exhaust tailpipe right here, and I think it's lovely. The chrome is a tiny touch ostentatious, but it's all real. The real muffler's right there, so no issues with me. I'll allow it. One nice thing with the Tacomas, we have this little button right here, and that opens up your power tailgate right there to open up this covered space. And you can see that we do have LED lights in the truck space. We do also have 2,400 watts of AC power right there. That's because this is the hybrid powertrain. All hybrid powertrains get that. We also have a small storage space right there and an even smaller storage space right here. And if you want, it's power closing, and you can do that on the other side. The opening and closing buttons on the side of the tail lamps are on both sides on the Tacoma. Of course, there is still a button down here, and it is on the key fob as well. One massive difference between this and the TRD Pro is the lack of ISO dynamic performance front seats, which means we do actually have legroom and a spot for your feet. I am 5 feet 11 inches tall, and I don't have tons of room back here, but I do have decisively more than I did in the TRD Pro. I have, less than an inch of legroom, and it's still tight, but I have about a 90-degree bend in my knees, maybe slightly more. I do also have headroom. I do also have another AC port right here and 2 USB Type-C ports right there. So it's not super spacious back here. This is nothing like the Tundra, but it's not bad. Also, if I pull on this right here, I do have a bit of storage behind the second row. Let's go to the front. One nice touch on the Tacoma, we have this what feels like real wood right here, this little piece right here. Otherwise, it's a pretty typical door with the typical controls right here. We do have powered seats right there, and that does include lumbar support, which is always appreciated. We do have several controls to the left of the steering, though fewer than the TRD Pro has. And we also have a fully digital instrument cluster right there and a nice and big center display right there. We do have heated and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. We do have wireless charging for your smartphone, more USB ports right there, typical Prindle, and your controls for dry modes, and also 4 high and 4 low controls right here. Couple of cup holders and more space in the center console right here. Looking up, we do have a sunglasses holder right here and controls for the moonroof with a manual privacy panel right there. It's lovely. And just in case you forget, it reminds you that it's a Tacoma right there. So there we have it, a quick look at the Toyota Tacoma Limited trim. Let's get back on the road. One thing I can say right away is that the ride is noticeably different. This is a much more comfortable, composed truck on the road. More than anything, it feels more typical of what a truck should feel like to me, because I'm not used to driving the more off-road friendly versions of trucks. I'm more of an on-road type of guy inherently. The hybrid engine gives good acceleration. You can see I didn't have time for any real acceleration test, but if I go really slow and just stab the throttle here, I've got good pull here, good acceleration, and it's nice and easy to use, and it feels just a lot more friendly on the road. All right, going over a slightly bumpier road here now. So digging into the suspension and the chassis a little bit, this is definitely inherently stiffer than the TRD Pro, but because this is a limited truck, we do have drive modes, and we do actually have an adjustable suspension with that, adjustable shock absorbers. So if I put it in the comfort drive mode, it's still stiffer than the TRD Pro in a lot of ways actually, but it goes over this cracked up road without any trouble at all. It's a comfortable truck. I do also have heated seats and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. I do not have isodynamic performance front seats, and that suits me just fine. I find these seats perfectly comfortable. I could use just a little bit more bolstering in the upper here, just a little bit, but otherwise I find them generally quite comfortable, and I appreciate having ventilation because it's actually an unusually warm day. So I'm going to turn on the ventilated seats right now. Going over this broken gravel parking lot right here, you can feel it bounce over that stuff more than we would in the TRD Pro, certainly. But that obviously was still perfectly manageable. Full throttle, accelerating out of here. Yeah, we've got good pull here. It's a good, powerful motor. 465 pound-feet of torque comes in handy for a truck like this. And yeah, to me, this truck makes a lot of sense, and it makes more sense in the more street-friendly layout. It's this layout where you can take better advantage of the second row. You can more easily carry people in the back seat. You still have plenty of goodies that you can throw in the truck bed and all that, but you can also tow more comfortably, you can carry people more comfortably, and it will handle the different road surfaces, as long as they're paved, more comfortably than the TRD Pro would. This is the limited trim truck, so it certainly isn't cheap, but it is actually less expensive than the TRD Pro. This is one of the higher trims, but the Trail Hunter and the TRD Pro are above it, but it is still above the SR, the SR5, the Pre-Runner, the TRD Sport, the TRD Off-Road. So this is one of the high-end trucks. I will go ahead and put the price up on the screen right now so you can see that. But yeah, the 2024 Toyota Tacoma Limited drives on the road much nicer than the TRD Pro. It's a good truck. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.